Hello, everyone. It's Friday night. We're back again. Once more, not with a game, but with art stuff. Hello. Thank you for coming. We're back in the art lines. Even though I've been working on works today, work's been going pretty well. So, we're heading back over here to work a little bit more on the Cooking with Kindness stuff. You beat the Roaring Knight. Congratulations! Was this your first time beating him, or have you beaten them before? Nice, awesome, excellent job. It's so refreshing once you finally do it, because good grief, is it hard. I've only beaten them once, because I'm like, okay, I did it, I don't want to do it again if I can avoid that. No, Knight is definitely the hardest one. Out of the whole bunch, they're the hardest so far. I'm pretty sure that is on purpose. Yeah, that's a really difficult fight. So congrats on finishing. I really do wonder if there'll be another opportunity to get that Shadow Crystal. People can't hack it in that battle because, well, Nelly, it's hard enough just beating Shadow Mantle guy. That one I couldn't do on my first try. It was ridiculous. Perfect save file setup. Yay! Yay! My save files are pretty good. Again, I'm missing the moss in chapter 3, so sadly, I will not be completely mossed out. But, aside from that, I'm in pretty good shape. I need to, give my files another quick check or so. Before, and I'll do that, Tuesday night, I think, just to prepare everything. Y'all, we're less than 4 days away! So that will give some effect, or it's the filter night. Ooh. I could see it being either one, to be fair. It could be either filtering out people or, giving an early crystal. Yeah, the problem with Jevil seems very RNG in terms of, where the bullets go and all that kind of stuff. I know there's a set pattern, but it doesn't feel like it. But, yeah, the Knight just has really difficult to dodge patterns. Really difficult to dodge patterns. Took me a little bit to set up because I got the nicest comment from one of the developers on Outer Tale today, and I had to spend some time responding to it. It was so sweet. Yeah, the attacks that always get me are the sword tunnel. I got hit by sword tunnel a lot, and good grief, what was the other one that just kicked my ass? Sword tunnel always just, I don't know what it was, but it got me bad. Box splitter. That one also gets you pretty bad. Yeah, I didn't stop to do it on my first time. I thought, oh, okay, good grief, I have these hands different shades. Okay, let's soften this. They both have to be soft or none of them do. Let's make them a little bit similar. Yeah, the problem is none of them are impossible. They're just difficult. Ghost to slash, yeah. Okay, let's do his eyes. He has regular white eyes. Knight that could be RNG might be the exact box splitter drops. I guess technically what's RNG is the, I'm trying to think what you call it, you feel like your insides are twisting kind of thing, and it does the rotating lines that will start from wherever your soul was last. This is Moz from the fan game Cooking with Kindness, which we played a little bit ago. I wanted to do some fan art. That's what we're working on today. Oh my goodness, that's a very long wash streak. Thank you. A little bit of that. Yeah, so we're doing a full page. I've already done quite a few characters. We have Luna up here, Baby Grillby, Sunny, and Sunny down here while Moz is looming over them. Plus Courier. Let's see. All kinds of good stuff. It's been a while since I've done color stuff, so I really wanted to do like some color based things. That's what we're doing. I started this on Sunday, just didn't finish. So that's what we're doing now. What exactly felt like RNG? I mean, I guess the fact that, you know, I guess it's technically not RNG, but the fact that the rotating lines that come out from wherever your soul is. So that's based on wherever you had your soul last. Like, I understand the mechanism behind it, but it feels like RNG because your movements are random. ERAM? I mean, I guess kind of, yeah. A little bit of stuff on his eyebrow. ERAM is fun. Even if I suck. I really hope they actually name them sometime, because it kind of sucks having them be named ERAM and we don't even know what their actual name is. Unless it really is just RAM. And we're all wrong. But I was trying to get through Snapcube's playthrough today, and I got to the part where she fights ERAM, so that was fun. And theorized that Shawn is ERAM? Probably. Was that on the theory list I did the other week? I feel like they did like everybody for who is ERAM. But I can't quite remember if Shawn was on that list. Actually, I can go back to that later. Yeah, somebody's using the ERAM as a disguise. Well, yeah, that was part of the that was part of the theory as to why Ram is actually ERAM, is because either he wasn't saved because he was turned to stone, or else he became the Shadow Mantle, which is an armor, so you don't save the person separately from that; they become that armor. Half for perspective. Yeah, it's definitely interesting seeing stuff from people who are like not deep in the sauce. And that kind of thing. I've really been enjoying Snapcube's thing, because she's just like, one, her voice work is amazing, and I'm like, I can't believe I didn't watch this sooner. And two, like, she's clearly having a lot of fun with the game. Like, she laughs at all the jokes and stuff like that. So it's been a lot of fun to watch. I've been enjoying that one. I feel like that's a good, like, if you want to watch a playthrough of Deltarune, then that's a good place to start, kind of thing. Trying to think of who else I'll be looking forward to. I don't know. Like, I used to be really excited about Psyculturalist playthrough, but the last one he did with like Chapter 4, I was really upset with it. I didn't feel like it was good analysis at all. I pretty much just like dropped him after he finished Chapter 4. Yeah, that tends, like, everybody's susceptible to misgendering, as long as, like, you know, you do it. The best of us do it. Like, I've done it. Andrew Cunningham has done it. All the big people have done it. Like, even though we know, it's just more of a societal problem than a strictly personal one. Are you going to stream Deltarune on the 24th? No, I am going to play it myself first. Because I don't want to have to like perform for an audience. I'm going to do it solo myself, especially because I want to hear the music and stuff like that. But I will record my blind playthrough and upload that, so you will see my reactions. You will not be there as they happen, but you will see my reactions, my blind reactions. Also because, like, when I first play, I'm probably gonna miss stuff. I'm not great at finding secrets, so people won't be yelling at me like, "Hey, you missed this." I'm like, "Yeah, I know I missed it. I'll get to it." Well, I don't think it was in Andrew's videos. It was in his streams, which, you know, I don't think those are edited. Those are just left up. So it's not in his videos, but it is in the streams. And it's only happened like once or twice, not very often. Literally one of those like slip of the tongue kind of things. But yes, I will do a full stream of the game with my friends, like I've done in the past. I have 2 friends that pretty much get their knowledge of the game from me. So we'll pick a time. It's just a matter of, you know, can we get 2 or 3 adults together in the same place at the same time? We'll pick a time once I know like how long it takes to get through all the game, and we'll do that probably in July. Yeah, I used to just write down all my reactions for game stuff, and I'm like, okay, at this point I'll like record it so you can actually see me reacting. The only downside to that is like then you got to see me like struggle through a battle over and over again if I suck at it. But the last time I did that, that went pretty well, so I'm gonna do that again. Yeah, do a little bit of that. It's not nice to get like initial reactions down in whatever way you want. But yeah, I'm not like a professional streamer. I don't think I can perform properly while it's my first time playing it. Plus, I want to like hear the music, so I will have headphones, stuff like that. Like when Chapter 2 came out, like all of us in the server were kind of like trying to play together and kind of talk over each other through it, and it was kind of chaotic. I'm like, okay, I can't do that again. Good grief, it's so close! Oh, doodle request. Desk giving piggyback ride for fun. Do you have particular desk design in mind, or is it just generic desk? I feel like my my design for desk changes like every time I draw. Deltarune tomorrow! Four tomorrows. Didn't I already have a desk on this page? Am I crazy? I guess not. Must have been on the other page. Is this like a young Chris, I'm assuming, with their little red horn headband? Okay. The Faint Courage design. Okay, I can't remember that off the top of my head, but I'll do my best. Well, I think I did her antlers a little different. She had like 2-prong antlers. Young quiz. I think it's seen a lot of like really cute designs for desks, so hopefully whatever we get, it's good. Yeah, that's the time when they were happy. Not so long ago. Or maybe it was, I don't know. But I feel like my old design for Des is outdated because now we know that, oh, she wears shoes. We gotta update the designs for her to be wearing shoes. I'll probably just do this from like the waist up. Well, I hope so too. I hope people won't get upset if something gets proven wrong. Me included. That's why I'm trying to be careful. I'm excited. I really want my theories to come true. But gotta be careful. In case you're wrong. Yeah, I'm very much on team Des is the Night. That is my team. And Des is also on team giving Chris a piggyback. Actually, we'll maybe move this over a little bit. Put it there. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay. Got that going. Yeah, you basically gotta make sure that you're having fun no matter what. You don't want to ruin it for yourself. It'll be crazy. Okay, let's see about the teeth. Zerla's final boss form? Yes, I did. That's one of the things we got. On the doodle page, you can ask for almost anything. Not quite anything, but you know what I mean. Hello, hello, thank you for coming. It's art time. Time for art. Almost done with Moz. A storyboard artist. I don't know, man. I don't know. For me, it's a characterization thing. It doesn't work characterization wise. I feel like if Rudy's a knight, that's basically taking like Carol's traits and applying them to Rudy, even though they're pretty different people. Another idea for another Patreon sketch. Oh, that's right, Patreon stuff. I'll have to do that. Squeeze that in between Chapter 5 stuff, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, I'm gonna try and do a little bit of stuff to that. Might have to get a little funky here, even that's gonna look choppy, but we'll cover it up later. Yeah, that's my problem. I don't think the identity is going to be revealed in Chapter 5. I think it's going to be like a Chapter 6 thing. We're going to be arguing about it forever! Maybe it'll be a thing of like, okay, we see the knight on screen at the same time that, like, other candidates are, so we can be like, okay, we can take them off the roster for once or something, I don't know. One can hope. It could be an end of chapter thing. It could. Yeah, like that's what I mean. Y'all know me. I'm gonna scream if Half Human Susie comes true. That's what I'm holding out for. Holding out for a craziness. Make that sure we get the yellow tooth. Nah, I'm not on board with Asriel Knight or Des is human. I am on board with Des wants to be human, but I think it's pretty clear she's a monster. But I can also, like I talked about this in the theory video, I can see a situation where Asriel was originally the knight and that was changed. Because those things happen sometimes when you're making a big story. I can see like a really early draft having Asriel knight, and then after Undertale, that was changed to Des. So I don't think that's the case right now. Never saw combo human Des and... Yeah, how do those two line up? I have no clue. Again, like, human Des is just kind of weird. I think it's really important that Chris grew up as the only human in town. But I am on board with her wanting to be human. Or thinking humans are cool. Because that could be a characterization issue. And explain stuff, why does she have the shoes, etc. But there's way too much evidence against, like, her being human, so that's a nope for me. Human Des is carried by one artist who has a nice design. You know what? To be fair, sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes you just figure out a design, you're like, oh, holy crap, that design works really well. And then you can fan art with it and have a good time. I'm gonna get to his big gold tooth. If the therapist is human, the Forgotten Man is the therapist. I could see that. Because if the Forgotten Man is the therapist, and that was somebody that Chris saw and they are outside of hometown, then he could be human. That's possible. Especially if they're like, oh, this is therapy for Chris. Maybe Chris will do better with a human therapist kind of thing. So that's possible. But if that's the case, I don't think we're going to actually see him. I don't think we're going to see any other humans except for like a silhouette at best. Like an impression. Has Chris been outside hometown? Yes, I believe so. They talk about it like if they've left hometown at points. Now, they can't right now. It seems like they are cut off from the world right now. But it does seem like it was possible in the past. Well, what kind of series do you want to do? Because it depends on what you want to do. Usually, if you don't want people to theorize stuff about it, then, you know, don't put mysteries in there and make it like a one-shot kind of thing. But usually people want to speculate about, you know, the things they enjoy. That's pretty normal. Oh, that's not the yellow I want, apparently. And we will either be right or wrong. That's all there is to it. All right. Well, again, it's up to what you want to make. Yeah, it is at least a sign people are critically engaging with your stuff, and that ain't a bad thing. It's good to exercise your brain. At least practice it. I'm gonna multiply this a little bit. Like a little bit under the teeth. Probably need some extra white on there. His teeth are looking very white. They need to be white. Well, I don't think I'm gonna say Doctor Who, because I was combining this. I don't think it's a whodunit story. It's not really that. It has different kinds of themes. Oh, I'm still in multiply. Yeah, no, it's not Deltarune 2.0. It's not that. Or it's not Undertale 2.0. Good grief. Even I'm doing it. Alright, I'm going to need some stuff. But Deltarune's not really a whodunit. Parallel story is not the same thing as it's the same story. I'm going to give him a little bit of gum. Ah, good grief. Like, I think it's popping all over. Well, yeah, of course it's not a Scooby-Doo episode. Good grief. Uh-oh, I think I borked it. Come back. Come back! It was slowing down a bit too much there for me. Mystery is fine. A whodunit is a very specific kind of mystery. It's not a, But I would not say that Deltarune is a whodunit. Mostly because nobody's dead. At least yet. He's yet to finish. A bit of that. Like his big gold tooth. More of a Yeah, I would say it's more of a mystery than a whodunit, especially since we know that there are some people that are involved in it, but we don't know who all that is and why. They're a shark. It's the gums. Shark gums. The big shark. Do you mean Alvin? There is no one named Alan. I'm like, who's Alan? What monster cult thing? Alvin! No, Jurassic Park. Alan. Just a raptor appears next to Chris and says that. Deltarune soon! I actually disagree. I don't think Alvin's part of the conspiracy. A big gap in his teeth there. I don't know about that. Maybe we can fill that in a bit. Ugh, you know what? Don't know if I'm really happy with how I've been doing these teeth. Ugh. I don't know. I want them to be nice and round. They need to look round. Sheesh. Apple between the gap. It's because he has such a big cartoony mouth. It's so big and cartoony. Whoop. Might just have maybe we have to forego the gums entirely and just make it all black. I don't know. Maybe that's not the worst. I don't know. To make sure they look like they have a little bit of depth to them, basically. Okay, are you not hearing the music? If you want me to turn up the music, I can do so. I'm just trying to I try to be careful with not play it too loud because otherwise I'll get copyright struck. I was fussing with these teeth. Good grief. Yeah, my fan is going too because it's pretty hot right now. Maybe his lip should be over this a little bit more. Okay. I am looking at reference form. You cannot see it, but there is reference. It's not so much Twitch as it is I also post these to YouTube, and YouTube it's a big deal. They don't like it on YouTube. They do not. Alright, I gotta do his fins. Yeah, I have a larger portable AC that I break out, but I'm gonna wait until it's properly hot constantly. Right now we're just starting to get there. It's 70s easing into the 80s. I'm hoping it's not too hot next week, so I don't want to have to boil while I'm playing the game. Ah, the YouTubes. Yep. Also, I just realized I probably need to take my stretch break. I was so focused. I'll finish up this real quick and then I'll take stretch break. Stretch break. Very important. Let me do this real quick. I do like Moz. He's very fun. Actually, I need to probably do a little black back there too. Yep, we're still filling him out, and I still got to do like also some more shadows and outlines. Nice. I will play Chrono Trigger after Deltarune Chapter 5. Yeah, maybe we'll learn Susie's last name, but I won't be surprised if we never learn it. I was surprised we learned Caddy's last name. I hope Jockington's last name is also Jockington. Jockington. That is my wish. No, we're not doing the Susie Gaster joke. Oh my goodness. That stupid Google Doc hurt my head. Maybe I wasn't supposed to take it seriously, but if that was the case, nobody told me that. And so if that's her last name, we'll be kicked back to the menu, so better not be that. John Sussy. John Cena. Okay, that's kind of what I figured, but I don't know. At least what I got sent didn't treat it like a joke. Maybe it was an elaborate joke, and I just didn't come into it with that knowledge. It was a bad document. I'm sorry. It was really slipshod. Susie McSusington. The whole point, yeah. The shitposting is an art. And I gotta say, Toby's a very good shitposter. I think a lot of people think they understand how shitposts work and try and do it, but I'm like, no, you're not on Toby's shitposting level here, dude. Gotta get better. Yeah, her last name should be Zilla. There we go. I accept that. Her last name is Zilla. Susie Dragon Scales. That would be cool. True. Uno Crest. One, I'm in the middle of my stretch. Two, you're going to have to be way more specific. What does that mean? that will probably require, like, explanation and or reference. So, maybe narrow that down a bit. Okay, but please, like, what does that mean? Is she back to life? Is she a corpse? Is, like, I need more. That's kind of a major story point thing. I can't just be after the roaring night, because what does that entail? Alright, I'll be right back for one more stretch in water and stuff. back. I'm back. Okay, please give me a reference. I'm not picturing what you're picturing. Because otherwise you said, oh, Des living? I'm like, so just Des. I don't really know what to do with that. I'm very sorry. I can do something, but you might not like it. Just because there's a lot of stuff wrapped up in deaths after being the night. Like, that's a whole, like, fanfiction genre, practically. Deaths after she just woke up at 11 a.m., true. I'll do my best. I will do what I can. She slept all night long. All night long. Okay, let me see. Alright, that's an actual reference, thank you. That I can work with. Thank you, thank you. Oh, we got a spookies. It's all done. It's a scary dust. This is a very nice one, yeah. Pretty sure this is Amy Waters. Very good stuff. Oh no, spring trap! Oh no! Gosh darn! I've been trying to watch through various analog horrors again for reasons. And surprisingly got scared by a FNAF. Like, most of the stuff I've just been like, because I've already seen it, like, you know, talked about before. Wasn't that scary. But, I actually got pretty spooked by this one, FNAF VHS take. And I'm like, oh, that was really well done. Good job, person who did this. It wasn't Walden Files, it was specifically FNAF instead of, like, you know, because Walden Files is kind of its own thing. I haven't gotten to Walden Files yet. I've heard Walden Files is very good. But this was, specifically just for FNAF, and it was, Baddington's FNAF VHS thing. And the one I saw that was like, oh, that actually gave me a good spook, was like, they basically did like an analog horror take on like, FNAF, like instead of for FNAF 3, instead of a walkthrough horror attraction, they did like a cheapo dark ride. And basically somebody gets stuck in like a time loop on a dark ride that's like scary FNAF themed, and it was very well done. Probably all done in Blender and stuff like that. And that was the first one where I was like, oh, that gave me a spook. Hello, thank you for coming. I love art too. Let's do it all the time. Alright, we did it. We did a zombie death. She's not looking hot, but she's doing her best. You end up in Digital Circus. What member of the circus would you like to be the first you meet? Probably Ragatha. Ragatha is very nice. Ragatha's good at, soothing worries and stuff. Probably at her own expense, but hopefully she's gotten over that now. Yeah, everybody can watch the Digital Circus finale now. It's up. It's done. I really liked it. I thought it was good. On an album? Possibly. I might. Hopefully. Right, apparently, Maz actually does have, like, black fingertips. He's like a black tip reef shark. Yeah, go watch it. It was really good. I really liked the ending. Oh, yeah. Oh, Ribbit would be really good. That's true. Ribbit would be a good one to meet first. That's a good point. Ribbit was nice. Oh, I'm glad you did too. We'll try and avoid spoilers if needed. We can play it safe. Do people want us to avoid spoilers? Because if so, we can in fact avoid spoilers. Don't want to spoil people that haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I just checked on it, you know, on my YouTube, and I'm like, oh my goodness, 10 million views in 3 hours. That's quite an achievement, honestly. Alright, gotta do his little fish hook. Okay, I don't want to spoil anybody. I'm really glad I saw it in theaters. I thought it was just very well done. Oh, I imagine. Okay, well, let's try and avoid spoilers then. We'll be careful. Oh, poor Wayne. That stinks. Yeah, I'm glad I saw it in theaters. It was worthwhile. It was a good time. Yeah, I'm still getting through Snapcube's Deltarune playthrough. It's been very good. Okay, I'll go back and fill that in later. I'll do outlines last. Like that. And got his funky little fish hook. I think we're good on Moz for now. We can move on to Sunny looking a little scared again. Banging sermon, my man. Did we save? I think we did. If I don't finish this today, then I will tomorrow and post it tomorrow. I love me a big short. I love a big short. That's fair. That's fair. Like, I wasn't a huge fan. Like some people, like I wasn't all theorizing and fan arting. I was a pretty casual fan, but I did want to support it just because, I gotta support indie animation. And I'm glad I did. I haven't gone to the theater nearly often enough, so went with a couple of friends. We had a great time. I hope Asriel's chunky. I hope that he's a fridge. All the dreamers need to be fridges. Asgore. Screw them kids. We'll see how that precedent follows through. I'm a little concerned that, the back rooms took off and did really well, and Hollywood's like, we'll just get our story ideas from Reddit. I'm like, or you could get your story ideas from, like, a up-and-coming director that's, needs a chance to experiment. Let Asriel be fat. But he needs to be a little bit gross. He's a quiet and smelly boy. I mean, maybe he cleaned up a little bit in college. It's possible. But you know, them college kids, they always are looking a little scraggly. I'm older now. Jockington already has the gross beard. I love how I saw some Tumblr post or whatever. Somebody's like, you know, we're at the point now where Toby posts a picture of a snake with a beard. People are like, the rapture's coming! Ah! Where did it say Asriel was smelly? One of the Ribic things. Basically, the Ribics talk about Des and Asriel. Oh, would it? Oh no, that's so funny. Asriel, clean your fur. Have some respect. Yeah. Oh, shut up, Facebook. I don't care. But yeah, basically there is whatever the a lot of what the Ribbits say, they're talking about Des or Asriel, which is interesting because one of their rare statements is either a lost and lost girl or a crying and crying and crying boy. Which I still want him to have moved on though. I think that'd be way more interesting. For her love of Homestuck. That's a bridge too far. The thing is, I don't know if Asriel knows that she was bullying Chris. I think he would definitely have a problem with it if he knew, but we don't know if he does know or not. I get the feeling that that was kind of happening after he left for college. Ralph saying Susie is a parallel to Asriel and Des. In what way? I kind of feel like Susie is sometimes a parallel to Asriel in terms of like a sibling for Chris, just because the way she keeps like slotting into Asriel's spot in Chris's life. Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Like she sees a picture of Asriel and she's like, "Oh, is that Rouse?" And then Chris is like, "No." Does Chris like Des? Like, yeah, obviously they like her as a friend. They clearly were the one who played together with her a bunch. They looked up to her. Yeah, I think that much is very clear. Rough girl said, perfect sister to Chris, perfect soft boy, Rousey. Could be, maybe. Could be. Yeah, I think people tend to like overestimate, like, oh, she was bullying Chris as well by hitting them too hard with a baseball bat. And I'm like, I don't think it was actually that big a deal. Also, wiffle bats don't hurt. They're not like actual bats. It's like getting bonked on the head with a plastic toy. Like, I think she might have been a little too rough with Chris sometimes, but I don't think Chris was ever like... Honestly, I think Susie probably treated Chris worse than Des did when she was bullying them. Let's see... I think I'm gonna do their hair next. Yeah, I keep seeing people like say, "Oh, I know Chris. She was hitting Chris with a baseball bat. That was abusive." I'm like, it's a wiffle bat, guys. Those aren't actual baseball bats. They're different. Trust. Ugh, I need like this on a separate layer so that I can reach the other colors underneath. Working with how off. Yeah, I hope so. That'd be nice. I think we got like a little bit of it so far, but it's sweet, sweet Sony. They're so sweet. Actually, nope, I'm trying to get this correct. That could have been it. Yeah, that could have been a later edition. Which then makes you wonder, like, okay, why was it a later edition? It's kind of weird that, like, she was so intent on bullying Chris in the first place. Why just them? Especially since usually when you bully somebody, it's because, like, you want to get a reaction out of them. And Chris was not reacting. Like, why was she specifically honing in on Chris and not bullying any of the other kids? Because normally it seems like she's like, please leave me alone. I don't want anybody to touch me. I mean, it's possible, but I think Chris is the one that actually feels responsible for it. Let's see. Yeah, of course they're out of their depth doing it, but you do stuff like that when you're a teenager and dumb. The thing is, I think that she was bullying Chris both before and after the scene with Toriel. We know that was happening because the first thing we see her doing in the game is bullying Chris, and that had to have been after the scene with Toriel. Which, that's another thing that makes me wonder. I'm like, okay, why was she still bullying Chris after she had that scene with Toriel? I think she was doing it before, too. Personally, I think she started doing it, like, pretty early on. I don't know. I mean, I'm chalking it up to the half-human thing, but that's just me. And she doesn't hate all quiet people. She likes Noelle, and Noelle's always quiet. The thing with bullying is, like, you kind of make up excuses to, you know, do the thing you were going to do anyway. Bullying doesn't usually have justification. Your justification is normally, I want a reaction out of this person. Yeah, that was definitely a take that I've ascribed to. Why does this outcast kid get to have a nice parent? It's not fair. Need to fill us in more on that. Let's see. I don't know if I want to do the full stuff with that. Give us more of the backstories. Why does your mom let you have a knife? Yes, Chris has a knife. that is very much clear. Oh, Susie, no. Because Susie literally asked Chris, do you have anything sharp in chapter 4? So she does not have a knife. Certainly not on her person. Oh, we don't know if Susie has parents right now because we don't know who she's living with. She could be living with her parents. She could be living with a guardian. Oh my goodness, the sleeves. They're not supposed to have the sleeves. I screwed up. 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 Did I not learn my lesson? They don't have sleeves. You dummy. Come on. How is she going to use a tooth on the ground? Is she going to bite the ground? How does that work? She's gonna jam her face into the ground? Act, Susie's idea. Bite the earth. Assert dominance. Show it who's boss. I'll try and fix my dum-dum with the arm. Rotate to the point. Just poink. I just wanted to turn into a cool dragon in Chapter 7. I still gotta draw that sometime for my big, lengthy Chapter 6 and 7 post. Which I don't want to do anything with until after Chapter 5 and see if my mind changes drastically, which it probably will. In some capacity. Okay. Now we're doing the pink. We're doing the pink. With enough determination, you too can bite the floor as hard as possible. Which, that's technically true. Okay. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. There's actually widescreen. I mean, I guess that's what the border art's for. Also, just realized we're gonna get really pretty border art for Chapter 5. And all the flowers on it. It's gonna be so pretty! I guess what would be the point of it being widescreen? What is added with it being widescreen? Considering the actual mechanics of it. Sometimes it is good to work within the format you have. Sometimes smaller formats can, in fact, be just what you need. But it's important to think about. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can do some cool things with a wide range of formats, but it's still, like, important to think about why you're doing it in this format. What do you gain from it? Because if you don't really gain anything from it, then I can't click on it now, but I'm pretty caught up with Stuffed Alpaca stuff. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's part of the point. Is just like, the reason why stuff was often in 16:9 is to entice people to go to the theater and see a really big, movie on the big screen. You can't do that at home. At least you couldn't back in the day. Go watch Ben-Hur on that. Oh, nice. I'll have to see that later. Actually, maybe I already watched it. I don't know. Yeah. I'll open an external link. But I'm going to pause. Oh, no, that was a while ago. Okay, I already saw that. Ancient times. Okay, that's silly. I kind of feel like Alpaca should know better on that. Like, come on, dude. This is like, in terms of fandom, this is baby's first monster fucking. Like, these monsters are basically normal people. Some of the most popular ships in this fandom involve, like, you know, a human and a bunch of monsters. Yeah, we're 11 years too late for that. I'm sorry. The monster fucking was here. It was here the whole time. What does that have to do with Asriel? When people say monster fucking, they mean a human and a monster. That's what they mean. They don't just mean monsters getting together. And in terms of that, like, humans getting together with monsters or dragons or non-human things has been around since, like, the dawn of time. It is a trope as old as civilization itself. I really don't understand why people would be squeamish about that particular aspect. I'm like, this is like, I don't know, Epic of Gilgamesh stuff. It's not a complex idea at all. We have entire charts for this in Dungeons and Dragons. Why would it not be a thing in a universe where monsters are basically furries? These aren't even, like, real monsters compared to, like, you know, I don't know, Eldritch Horrors or, like, something like that. These are basically furries. Of course people are gonna want to have sex with them. Not shocking. Again, baby's first monster fucking. I think I might have been making this a little bit too... Make it a little bit more broad. Also, I might need to take my stretch breaks in. Yeah, I don't know if you're I'm pretty maybe Alpaca's just looking at it wrong or something like that, because I really like Alpaca's work, but I like, in general, I'm like, okay, if you can't handle the thought of humans and monsters, you know, getting together and having a romance, maybe this fandom isn't for you. Like, if you're that put off by it. The author is Markiplier's brother. Oh yeah, he was a webcomic artist, wasn't he? Yeah, the Undertale fandom is basically a furry adjacent fandom in the same way My Little Pony is a furry adjacent fandom. Like some fandoms are not furry technically, but they are furry adjacent, and yeah, Undertale Deltarune is absolutely furry adjacent. And you can tell how little I do things here. Okay, great. I don't like it. I'm gonna have to go back to this. Okay, but first we're going to stretch. Don't consider it adjacent? I don't know. Yeah, like, the Dreamer's definitely furry. The reason why I would say it might be more furry adjacent is because, like, a lot of people are in the fandom specifically for the Skeleton Brothers, and human skeletons, like, you can put that under monster fucking, but I wouldn't really put that under furry necessarily. But it is furry adjacent. That is true. The furry fandom is its own fandom. That's true. Yeah, I love me some bug furries. So many interesting bugs out there. You gotta make some cool bug sonas. I mean, if you're in the furry fandom specifically for, like, you know, the fuzzy, furry, fluffy part, then bugs are gonna struggle there, but, you know, that can also cover birds and reptiles and even fish, so don't necessarily need fluffy furry stuff. A wide variety of aminals out there. Music is still going. That is true. There are furry bugs. The main problem with furry bugs is like when they're furry, you really aren't supposed to touch them because they're usually poisonous. It's not fair. Why are the most petable bugs like the danger bugs? Yeah, like those little fuzzy furry caterpillars, those are usually like poisonous or something, aren't they? Whereas a smoother little wormy bug might not hurt you so much. Yeah, irritating little hairs. I mean, you gotta ward off predators some way. Especially in the larval stage. Persona that kills you when you touch it, true. I'm sure somebody's done that. Somebody must have done that before. I wonder if anybody's ever done like a, I don't know, a poll or something ranking like most common to least common animals that you use in a furry. Like, is there a persona out there that's like just this really random animal that nobody's heard of? Probably a couple of those. They're probably all bugs too. Or weird fish or something like that. Weird fish. Unlike Mars, who's a big fish. Anemone. Tardigrade. Somebody's probably made a tardigrade furry. They do a little. They are. Yeah, see, my shading's not great. Ah, okay. I will be right back for one more stretch. Alrighty, I'm back. Oh, I love binturongs. But yeah, I'm reminded that, like, I need to do some lighting studies. I'm very out of practice. Especially on humans and stuff like that. There are kids, they don't really need to look completely swole or anything. Just a little bit of extra. Just so we can actually, like, see the bend in the arm, stuff like that. Studies are fun. I haven't done them in a while. They are important. Let's see, if the knees are like that, it should be more like that. I'm hoping. Ugh. It's fun powered Friday night, it's true! Yeah, true. You can see my struggles with lighting. Oh yeah, there's whatever kind of stuff you make, there's always someone who will enjoy it. I like this song. Yeah, a lot of people know Jak and Daxter. That's a pretty popular game, isn't it? In fact, sometimes it can be extra nice because, like, normally if people are, like, kind of professional sellers, then they tend to focus on, like, what's popular at the moment. Whereas if you go to somebody who's, like, you know, just has their one passion thing, then it's really exciting. Oh, yes, please send me a link to a reference. You can do that over Discord, and I'll be fine. Just PM me. I did watch Andrew Blewett's like history on the Jak series, and it was very interesting. Like why they made those really drastic changes between like 1 and 2 and also 2 and 3. I've never played any of the Jak games, but fascinating. But also I just like Andrew Blewett's stuff. It was pretty good. Yeah, Discord DM's fine. And do the heart on their little apron. Very cute. Don't know if I'm super happy with this apron, but we'll make do. We'll figure it out somehow. Yeah, just let me know when you've sent that and I'll take a look. Alright, thank you. Yes, that's why I'm asking them for the reference. Let's see. Here we go. Accept. Need to zoom in. Okay, let's see. Any pose. Oh, it's got that. I forget what that weapon is called. What is that weapon called? I know it has like a specific name. Kanabo. Okay. Exactly. That works well with her name. Okay. Cute sprite sheet, although I'm gonna have to do my best with it because it's still a little small. Yeah, I do know there was a Deltarune yellow going around. People do like the yellow characters. They're so cool. They're so fun. Does she have something in her hair? It looks like it. Like a little thing. Some bits are kind of spotty. Yeah, that's fine. Like it's a fan game. It's allowed to be spotty. Games are so hard to make. Takes so much time and care. It's a ponytail? Okay. Because I know she has like little, I can, pull down the little thing around her head. Make sure you know it's a ponytail. There we go. I'll have her holding a weapon because that looks cool. Here's a question: what is her weapon in the light world? If this is her dark world weapon, it's a little bit too big. Oh yeah, that can happen, especially if they lose the code. That stuff can get lost way too easy. Okay. It is a mystery. Yeah, I've seen the designs online a little bit, just skirting around here or there, but I don't know much about the game itself. Also, I'm gonna make this slightly more correct. There we go. We can put it right here. That's fine. Ooh. Oh yeah, I remember those hairbrushes. When you use a hairbrush, do you prefer the cylinder ones that are like have the bristles all around the cylinder, or do you prefer just the regular hairbrush? Ah, let me get you back over here. All right, thank you for the request. There will be more Undertale yellows in this page for sure. Well, thank you for being here. That's why I have the request page. Have you considered what her parents look like? Yes, I drew them. At least I drew her dad, monster dad. I've been a lot more vague with her mom. And again, I think if we see her, it's going to be like a silhouette only. We're not going to really see much of how she looks. Yeah, you saw my comics, right? I drew those like I need to check, years ago. Yeah, that was one comic I did where we see her mom in the future, but I always hid like her human parents' faces. But even then, the problem with growing pains is like that's operating under they'll start human then turn into monsters in puberty, and like I don't think that applies to canon. That was for that fanfic specifically because I was trying to work out like story. It was for story reasons, but I don't think those story reasons are necessary for canon. Yeah, I did do an actual picture of her dad, like a color picture. Yeah, basically for growing pains, you see like it's kind of a different situation where you see her human parents, but her human father is not her real father. It's actually a monster, so I drew him too. But I think if that were to apply in canon, like she would have been human. She would have looked that way the whole time, basically. There would have been no transformation aspect. So I originally put that in for story purposes, like, okay, if her mom was not faithful, why didn't they find out until now? Why did she move to hometown where she is? When she did, blah blah blah. Like, did that for story reasons, and then in the game itself, it's like, oh, I moved around a lot, and I'm like, okay, well then it's not necessary to do it for other reasons. Like that. I'll do their big old oven mitts. Yeah, if you check on my Tumblr, should be there under the short comics area. I'm pretty sure I did save some of the color drawings for that. Maybe I should do a proper take on her mom sometime. Because I've seen some people do that. And they're fun. But I get the feeling that her mom is just not a terrible person. from what we know. Not a nice lady. True enough. It could, yeah, it could be the other way around. It could be human dad and monster mom. Very well could. I tend to default to her mom as the human parent, but it could go either way. I think it's because Susie, like, the way that Susie clearly is desperate for, like, absolutely starved for motherly affection, the way that she's, you know, clearly putting Toriel on a pedestal. I don't know. Then that reads as a mom that was really, really kind of disdainful and neglectful for her. And I can see that happening, especially if the mom was, say, expecting a regular human child and got a monster child and resentment. But it could go the other way. That is true. I mean, I'm pretty sure she has issues with both. Could go either way. My main thing is that I think if she is still living with a parent now, it would have to be the monster parent. I don't think there's another human in hometown. So basically, whoever it was that left them there, it was the human parent. And that reads mostly as the father to me, but not set in stone. It could go either way. Either way, they're both clearly failing at the falling down on the job. And it might not even be like she's there with the parent. She might be there with like a legal guardian or something like that. That's the frustrating thing. We have no idea. She will says nothing. Which issue does Susie have it worse? Mommy issue or daddy issue? We don't know. They're both pretty bad. It seems like there's a parallel between King and her dad in terms of somebody who's just like absolutely awful to her for no reason, and you know, you're too quiet, whatever. But at the same time, again, she seems to have a particular problem with moms, considering how she just lamprey latches onto Toriel. Yeah, she's in the apartments in the east. We know that much. That could be interesting, yeah. It could be in contrast to Noelle's issues with her mom, that she has issues with her dad. And if that was the case, it could be an interesting thing where, yeah, the dad is the human parent. It could be contrast, it could be parallels, we don't know! We don't know. Alright, I'm almost done. I want to get to Courier here before the end of the night. But we will do their thing first. Where are the contrasts? Where are the parallels? We need to figure it out! It could be dad issues. Don't know. I do find it interesting that, like, Susie, likes, like, kaiju. She likes giant monster movies. So basically, whatever situation she's in, she wishes she was more monster than she is. Yeah. I hope Asgore doesn't screw up too bad. Good grief. I have no clue what he's going to be doing. Like, sir, your child is in a bad situation. And it might be partially your fault. Yeah, oh yeah, like the dreamers are full of problems, but Susie's parental problems clearly are severe enough that like she will not even broach the topic of her family. What won't even call. Mew Mew in chapter. Well, do we know Mew Mew's gonna be in chapter 5? I mean, it would work. It's the Japanese setting, but I kind of feel like Mew Mew is more of a trans allegory than a mixed race allegory. I think that's the intended thing for Mew Mew. He better not be directly fighting Chris. Yeah, if he is, then like, then Toriel was right to divorce him. She has earned running him over with her car privileges. So that is also why I kind of like I don't think we're gonna have an actual boss battle with him. It might be some kind of fake out. Or maybe he's like a phase 1 and the actual boss is phase 2. But yeah, I cannot see him willingly fight. I can see Chris kind of willingly fighting their dad. But I do not see Asgore engaging with it. Queen's chariot cannot be stopped. You thought all the running Des over with her car jokes were funny? Well, get ready for this! I'm gonna try and be careful with the shading here. Oh, good grief, their ear. Definitely gonna have to go back in here later with proper lines. Chris needs training. I don't want to overdo it. I feel like I overdid it on the last one. So I might try and keep the shading to a minimum on them. I'm gonna do their nose though. Well, as we were talking about it, it might be very funny indeed if like the same thing happens with Asgore that happened with Toriel, and it's like, no, she's not really here. He's just locked up in the sun. He doesn't get to do anything. People would be mad, but I think it would be funny. Parents not allowed to be in a dark world. I'll lock Toby in the sun. That's fair. Think that Susie has a reading disability? I think she has a learning disability. At the very least, I think because she's been like, you know, not taught well in school and held back a bunch. Like she's supposed to be in high school, but she clearly has trouble like reading and writing. So I can see her having a learning disability. Rouse complicates things. It does. Which is why I have the building fear that the wedding flowers will look like dreamers. Because then he can like blend in with the flowers. They won't be able to tell that, you know, he's special. Because he'll look like a flower darkener. And we'll keep putting off this moment. That is true. You gotta be, you know, properly nourished in order to read and write proper. Yeah, no, she's not, like, when she writes Alvin's letter, it's really sweet because, like, her grammar isn't perfect, so she's like, you know, it's okay to write your own stories, you know, they're fine even if they're not perfect. That was a really sweet moment. No, it's probably not great for him, but I can see, the problem is like, I can see that manifesting, because especially if, you know, if the night is death and she's making it from her perspective, then, like, it's all dreamers all the way down. She's gonna associate that with Asriel. Especially if, like, you know, Asgore talks to them as if they're his kids. We don't know how he talks to them, but he apparently talks to them a lot. I'm just scared. I'm scared. And he's like, I have concerns. Sunny's also scared. Let's see, is their eyes okay like that? I might need to actually add a little bit onto that. Maybe. I'm just like, okay, I don't like that, never mind. I don't want no more Woody theory stuff. Please let it go away. Let the meme die with dignity. Whatever dignity it has left. I want to see, if we're going to do it, let's see a Eastern or superhero thing. Because we do have those superhero comics that are on Asgore's TV. Do something with that. Like, maybe people are flanderizing Asgore a little bit with the Western show. I'm like, on the TVs and TV world, we saw him playing golf. Is he supposed to have a golf world? Yeah, Beauty and the Beast mentions. Alright, do I do everything for Sunny okay? Oh, we need their cheeks. We need their little pink cheeks. I almost forgot. They have like Kara cheeks. Kara blush. That is true. He does listen to country music. Country roads take me home. I don't know much country music, but he's got them in his truck. I feel like all the stuff that they've like piled onto Asgore, like the country music, the truck, the, you know, liking old school cowboy shows, but also like the golfing and the bachelor pad, all that's supposed to be combined as to like Asgore's just extremely typical dad. You're supposed to look at him and think, that's a dad. Look at this dad. That is the most dad that's ever dadded. Like that's the point. Is to make him such a heckin' dad. Yeah, exactly. He is aggressively, yeah, you're exactly right. He is aggressively an American suburban dad past his prime. Alright, so apparently Courier has no neck. Yeah, I know that. Trust me, I know all the evidence. I'm aware. Okie dokie. Let's see. Alright, I need to check out Courier's colors. I think I have him over here. Where did I put him? Where are you? There he is. He's all very claws. You like the sparkling. Although I probably need to take my stretch breaks in and also turn off Alfie's lights. Save. Ah, wrong layer. I'm just quietly very tired of Woody in Chapter 5, trust friend inside me, stuff like just constantly. So, I don't want that anymore. I want it to go bye-bye. And if it happens, then it happens and it happens, but I would prefer we do other things. Let's explore some other ideas. No, appropriately, we got some Asgore music. Let's explore some Asgore music. I'm giving some shinies. You more hints of Mike in Chapter 5? I have no idea. I don't know what to make of Mike at all. I kind of thought that, like, what we got with the mics in Chapter 3 and 4 was like, okay, that's our answer to the mics. But if there's more, like... I have not a nary an idea. Mostly because it seems like the whole point of Mike is that he had, like, a really important relationship with Tenna. So I'm like, okay, if Tenna is off doing other things now, then where does that leave a Mike? Okay. Oh wait, you can do that back there too. Like, I know people speculated about Mike a whole lot in Chapter 2 era. Need water. So people speculated about Mike a lot in the Chapter 2 era, but even back then I was like, I don't know what to do with Mike. I had no Mike ideas. Mike-itas. I continue to have no Mike ideas. If there is an extra Mike and he does something, I hope it's cool. Gonna be a fake friend to you while Tenna was the overlord. At the end, Mike would overthrow Tenna. Interesting. Interesting. See, that's at least an idea. Set it up all kind of like mysterious, like too. Like Tenna mentions Mike almost immediately in the chapter. And then we get nothing, 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 and then in Chapter 4 it's like, by the way, Mike was just some guys. Play our creepy cat mini games. No, we got one more Shadow Crystal to do. So we're gonna have one more Shadow Crystal boss in Chapter 5. We got one more. So that's what Sham said. Chapter boss idea is like a council group villain. And one who isn't really a baddie, but forced by the night. That is true. It would be nice to get a variety there. Yeah, last chapter's 5. That's going to be our last Shadow Crystal. I'm not sure if any, but like people calling the night showing up that early, I think was pretty unusual call. Even then, I was like, oh, we'll get some kind of like, voice or silhouette or something, kind of hinting at the night. But we're not going to get the actual night. And then it's like, nope, here they are. Fight them now. You fools. Alright, I think I actually gotta take my stretch break now. And also turn off all these lights! What a twist on chapter 3. Now you get the dark beer bottle. Oh no. That's not a good prize. What I find it so fascinating is, like, even the night showing up this early, we're still having so many arguments about the night. It's never gonna stop. It's never gonna end. We're gonna know who the knight is and what their deal is, and there's still gonna be things that people are arguing about. Because people get really pedantic about certain ideas, I think. In regards to specifically the knight, I'm not sure why. Oh, maybe they'll, like, maybe we'll have to fight Sham in order to finally get our shadow crystals all put together. That's a possibility. I can see that happening. I guess I'm just like, okay, if there's if there's an optional boss, then, like, what is the point of pursuing them if not for a shadow crystal, unless, like, you just want to fight something? No. I don't know, I saw stuff that was still like, no, multi-knight was true, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. No, it was not. That's not a multi-knight. That is one person. Clearly with the connection to Chris, but that doesn't mean Chris is a knight. Same as Purple Guy in Springtrap, thanks to... Ugh. That probably is just not helped at all by how Scott writes FNAF. Or doesn't as much. At the very least, Deltarune is a story that's like, okay, it's already... We've said it. We've planned it. This is how it's gonna go and end. So... Not so much getting changed on the fly. I'm sure there's little things being added here and there, because that's always happening in the process of making something, but major plot points. Pretty sure that's all set and done. So I think the people going like, oh, he's gonna change it based on the fan. I'm like, nah. Nope. Yeah, I'm sure there's going to be tons of interesting things where, like, once we have the full story, we'll be like, whoa, I didn't even know that at the time, it was crazy. Sometimes it's just impossible to know until you have all the information. That's always very fun. Alright, I'm going to turn off Alfie's lights, and then I'll be right back for one more stretch. Ready for bed? Sleepy girl? Yes, you are. I'm back. Let's do a little more. Oh, it's up to you. Twisted sword. I don't know. I could also see the twisted sword going to Noelle and being her weapon. I think that would be interesting. Yeah, right now the twisted sword is like a... Whoop. Twisted sword is kind of like an okay weapon. That's my current thoughts on, like, what do the shadow crystals do, or what does the pure crystal do? Is, give somebody an ultimate weapon. You gotta choose who. Yeah, the trance down is what makes it interesting. It's like, okay, that's interesting, and the only person that applies to is Noelle right now. Which is why I think that could become a weapon for Noelle. Basically, my thoughts right now are that you will combine the pure crystal with 1 or 4 weapons, depending on the character. And whoever you combine the crystal with, they get an ultimate weapon. So for Noelle, it would be the twisted sword. For Chris, it would be with the black shard. With Susie, it'll be with the Justice Axe, and then assuming that Ralsei is going to get a specific boss battle where he gets a special weapon, it'll be with a special scarf with Ralsei. The question then becomes, okay, who do you want to give an ultimate weapon to and why? Because, yeah, you effectively cannot get Twisted Sword unless you have an aborted Weird Root. Maybe we'll be able to get the ring back from Noelle in the future. Right now. Don't know. Yeah, that's true. Like, if we're going to do this in the Weird Root, we're going to have to take the Thorn Ring from her again when we just had, like, a giant, like, really important scene of, like, equip. So take that off and give her the Twisted Sword? I mean, that could be extremely interesting. But, what benefit would it give? I mean, at the very least, the problem with the Thorn Ring is that it's hurting her every time she uses it, so having a weapon that does not do that is useful. Be a special aborted Weird Root thing, because the game, yeah. It's true, like, there's really not much going for it right now if you abort the Weird Root. It gives you so many off-ramps to do so, but, like, then story-wise, it's like, okay, it doesn't seem to really affect anything. But you pretty much have to, so far you have to abort it pre-Birdly. If you want the Thorn Ring. It's an interesting conundrum. That'll probably be a conundrum for other people to solve, because I don't play the Weird Root, but I am curious to see what they do. I guess then the question becomes, like, can you abort in Chapter 5? And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we could. Like, people feel like Chapter 4 is like, oh, this is the point of no return. We're not going to be able to... There's going to be no off-ramps next chapter. What if there is? That'd be a hell of a way to do that, just after, like, Noelle definitely learns that all that was real. It seems like it. It seems real. It seems really unlikely, but at the same time, I'm like, what if? Then again, I guess the issue is like, if we could abort in chapter 5, that would practically be like its own ending, I guess, because it's affected Noelle too much. I don't know. I'm believing you got confused. Wait, isn't that doesn't that happen in a Deltarune analog horror? I'm pretty sure there was one I saw mentioned where, like, it's like an analog horror where Noelle is like aware of the player and then is like all in on the weird route, and it's like, nope, Chris, I don't want you to back out of it at all. You need to you need to keep doing it, because they're just like completely aware of the player being there and start talking to them directly. I guess that's also on my to watch list at some point. He kills, yeah, Chris directly for the soul. I could see that happening maybe in the actual weird route, to be honest. You never know. You were used up. Yeah, Force Weird Root series. No, it was called something else because it was like specifically analog horror style. But it was pretty much like Noelle is aware of the player and is forcing them to do the weird route. That is true. That is true. Girl is used up first. Creepy thing. What does that mean? What does that mean, Toby? What does it mean? Thanks for all your hard work, Chris. Those colors are very bright. I swear, like, it's really weird, interesting how, like, colors on a sprite seem, you know, totally natural, but as soon as you try and, like, paint with them, it's like, whoa, they actually are, like, quite bright. The ice key was used up. Let's see. Folds are a little better on this, at least. Just a bit. Alright, he's got a bunch of, like, buttons and stuff. Some of them are just actual buttons. Hopefully these forms will be a bit more defined once I go back in with an outline brush. I'm looking at this concept art. I don't think he has, like, nails as much. Actually, I better put some stuff down here. Should be shadows. Also, I think he's supposed to have, like, this kind of thing going on. I might have made the skirt too long. I think his torso should be longer. Oh, well. This looks like a little billowing cloak, not quite a skirt. Actually, I just realized this should be like a bit more of a cuff kind of thing going on. bit more like that. Okay. I did not get how this guy worked when I first saw him in the game. I was like, man, what kind of monster is that? And then it was pointed out to me, he's a bird skeleton. And I was like, oh wait, it makes sense that like maybe they shouldn't just have human skeletons. Like why are the only skeleton monsters like human skeletons? What about bird skeletons or like fish skeletons or any other kind of skeletons? They should be allowed to be monsters too. Yeah, I have seen some kind of cool like Asriel kids that were like goat skeletons. Like, that's neat, see? I mean, yeah, it's probably easiest to do that just for, like, character design purposes, but this is a way that fans can do some fun stuff. That is true. They are different and weird. What is their dealy do? They're doobly dooblies. Yeah, seriously. Reasons why I think the half-human thing could also apply to Sans. He's always just been so weird. What is his deal? What is his deal? I hate it when you're born with cursed symbolism. True. It's an omen. Yeah, true. One thing I want to see more is like, okay, can we see like more mixed monster couples? Like, hey, you know, Alphys and Undyne are a mixed monster couple. They're clearly doing fine. So are the, you know, the gay couples and stuff like that. But like when we see actual families, it's all just like the same species of monster. And I know that the reason for that is probably visual shorthand. Like, if you want to show that these characters are related, the easiest way to do that is to make them look alike. But it's a little frustrating just from a design purpose, design position, that's the only thing we've seen. Like, it's a big monster universe. We can do some cool creative stuff with it. The library monster, yeah, I can see the library monster is the same as Alphys. Toby! Do it, Toby! He needs to do it because we've already got people trying to be like, no, half-human Susie can't happen because even mixed-race monster couples can't happen. And I'm like, I think that would just be blatantly not true. Like, if monsters could only have kids with monsters that looked like them, then, like, in Undertale, monsters would be way more, like, queerphobic. It's like, you can't get together with, you know, somebody else. You can only have... Our race depends on you having kids with somebody that looks like you. Just, like, it's so icky to me. I can't imagine that's how it works. Yeah, like, in the real world, there are plenty of, like, animals that come from two different species. You got mules, you got ligers, you got koi wolves. They're happening all the time. Yeah, that's a hell of a message to send, which is why I don't think it's true. I'm kind of baffled. People are like, no. Like, monsters can only have kids with somebody that looks like them. I'm like, I just don't think that's true. I think that would be awful if that was true. Yeah, like Undertale, I don't think necessarily humans and monsters could do that because they are clearly distinct in terms of like physiology. They have extremely different souls, stuff like that. So I don't think human monster kids are possible in Undertale, but Deltarune is a different universe with different rules, and from what we've seen, there is no real major difference between humans and monsters, at least in terms of, like, their souls and stuff like that. So I can see it being impossible in Undertale, but Deltarune's another matter. And it's mostly also the fact that, like, in Undertale, I don't think it would be good if, like, monsters, like, you can only have, you know, kids with other snowdrakes, or only have kids with other bunny monsters or stuff like that. I think that would be extremely gross if that was how it worked. And also the monsters would kind of die off soon, considering, like, almost all the monsters we've seen, like, they all look different. There's such a wide variety of monsters, and we're supposed to, like, celebrate how cool and cute and different they all look. I just think it'd be a really hell of a take if it's like, no, only skeletons can have kids with skeletons, etc., etc. I don't think that would be very good. Yeah, exactly. They're magical. You can make up whatever rules you want. Use your imagination. The power of imagination. Heck, one thing, again, I really appreciated about the 10th anniversary was just hitting us with, like, hey, there's even more stuff down here you didn't think about. It's even bigger. The war was even more complicated. It wasn't a, you know, clear sides deal. That, I think, is vastly more interesting. Let's do cool, neat things with cool new ideas. And he's got a lot of buttons on his hat. Okay, I'm guessing I'm probably not going to be able to finish this tonight, but I will finish it and post it tomorrow because I don't want to leave it hanging. I don't think we'll have enough to do on Sunday anyway, so. It'll be better to finish it up tomorrow. Well, I've got to work on Anthrofractal too. I haven't even looked to see what the poll won for that. Got stuff to do. At least it'll keep me distracted. Goodness knows I will need it. Yeah, just one of the reasons why I'm willing to entertain Sans being half human is that his death scene is just so weird compared to everybody else. Deeply strange. It does seem like this was primarily done for, like, dramatic purposes. Like, if he did just, like, poof into dust along with, like, all the rest of the monsters, that would kind of feel anticlimactic after, like, this, you know, giant-ass boss battle we just had with him, which was probably exhausting, and for most people, you know, people are usually celebrating once they beat Sans first time because he's just crazy difficult to beat. So I imagine that it was done that way, to, like, draw out the death scene some more so we had more time to, like, sit with it. But from a in-universe explanation, it's strange. It's strange. Picking up. You think we'll see Papyrus next chapter? I do have him on my bingo. Okay, that's what I'll do tomorrow. I'll update my bingo card and I'll post that on my Tumblr. My Blue Sky. Gotta throw my bingo card into the pile. I made it like made it a while ago, but I'm updating some of the squares where I'm like, okay, I don't think this is as likely, but this should be possible, so. Oh yeah, I got half human Susie on it. I have to put that on it. I have to put it on my bingo card. But like, I'm updating some stuff to be like, okay, I'm all in on Apple Girlington now. I'm an Apple Girlington believer. And I think the feather that we see in that one part, I think that's like a power-up or a travel item. Something nifty like that. I wanted to add like Jackenstein at the festival, because I think he'll be at the festival. No, the free space is just a free space. I'm not gonna cheat. There's always a chance that it is wrong, and I'll have to deal with it. There's the chance. Can't take nothing for granted. Like, there's other things that I'm way more confident are correct. Like, I'm pretty confident in Death Knight. Yeah, what the? No. It's like, I must look brooding and mysterious. But yes, it is on my bingo card. No, what the? Oh. Well, that's why that's doing that. Yep. He's gonna grow the beard! Finally! Look how dashing he is with his beard. Just as foretold by the prophecy. Also as foretold by Toby in, like, years and years ago. This event is the trigger to gain the confidence to grow. Why didn't you have confidence before? You're Jockington. You should be all confidence. What is the event that is the trigger to grow the beard? We must find out. Okay. All these guys. Maybe we can start doing a little bit of shading stuff. The power of the multiply layer. He can grow it really fast. I believe in him. I believe in his prophecy power to grow the beard. Okay, let's I don't know if I should do it this soft or not, but we'll start with that. Let's go back in and erase it later. That's what I usually do with this kind of stuff. And don't worry, it's not going to be this dark. I'm going to tone it down. Just want to see what I'm doing. See what I'm doing. Ah, I scraped it right across Luna's nose. Fuzzies! Fuzzies! He loves the fuzzies. Yeah, doing stuff in color again definitely reminds me I need to do lighting studies in the future. When I have a spare moment, because I'm usually working on something or other. Really, you wouldn't have a lot of shadows because you're a fire. No, see, that wouldn't even be on... Where do I even put the shadows for Grilby? He's got so much fire. I gotta give him a glow later, too. Alright, let's see how much we want to kick this down. Let's do, like, 45 or something. That looks okay. I'll be doable. I guess I'll just go until I'm ready to stop for the evening because we're getting close to that. I gotta stretch soon anyway. Actually, let me turn off the color second. Huh. Just focus on this. Nothing that I'm usually just doing for Deltarune. Like kind of putting down big shades first and then kind of carving them out. Lighting is tricky. The thing with lighting is, as with most things, best to have some reference. As light is a bouncy little boy. Light goes wherever the heck it wants, and depends on the kind of material it's hitting, what color the light is, stuff like that. I'm not paying too much attention to that right now. I'm just kind of doing like very basic shading, but light's tricky business. I admire people who can do really nice, well-rendered light. It's really gorgeous. When you have a big object behind, would it still cast a shadow on the object in front? Yeah, usually. Yeah, that's why I have shadow over Sunny right now. Because Moz is also looming over Sunny in the game, so it's appropriate. Looming. The LOOMSTER. Man, I cannot believe during the anniversary stream they made a reference to the LOOMSTER. Nobody understands that but me. I'm like, the LOOMSTER? Like, I freaked out in chat and nobody knew what I was talking about. They talked about the LOOMSTER. It's for, like, the dumbest things, too. It's literally for, like, a McDonald's, like, promotional ad. Okay, the LOOMSTER was, like, this dumb thing. Again, in, like, the 90s or something like that. Some promotional ad they did where they're like, try our McDonald's vocabulary. And they just made up, like, a bunch of, like, McDonald's terms that, you know, nobody's gonna care about. But the one that stood out to me and my family, because we were, like, at McDonald's at the time, we were much younger, me and my brother, my brothers, and we were looking through this little, like, play mat thing, and they described the one fry in the bunch that's, like, way longer than the others. Like, the one fry that sticks out above all the others is called the LOOMSTER. And we were like, oh, the LOOMSTER! And just started using the LOOMSTER all over the place in, like, real life. We're like, aha! The LOOMSTER. And then, like, I forgot about the LOOMSTER for years. And then during the 10th anniversary, I think it was, like, with the Spampton, one of the fan gamer dads was like, the LOOMSTER. When talking about the giant fry with Spampton, I'm like, the LOOMSTER! Like, you remember this bizarre little promotional ad for McDonald's from 10 million years ago? LOOMSTER. Yeah, that should have been the new Morbin time, was LOOMSTER. Okay. Do a little bit more up here. I'm LOOMSTERing all... So basically you have giant fries all over the place. I'm LOOMSTERing. They did reference that. That was so funny. I was kind of hoping for more of that in Chapter 3. I'm like, please hit me with those, like, bizarro references of, like, 90s commercials, and they didn't really do that as much. It was kind of more like, you know, Zelda games and stuff, which we kind of got, but mostly when I was growing up, we had a lot of Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm not putting much towards his face. I gotta give him a glow too. So there's no shading like on his face or around his bow tie, stuff like that. It does. It does have that energy, but it doesn't have like anything quite specific enough. Like the kind of the I'm never glooby and then all the green slime comes out. Like, okay, that's Nickelodeon like gack stuff. Fresh from the juice, I guess, is more like I don't know, that kind of seems like either a Fruit Roll-Ups or a Capri Sun kind of commercial. Maybe Sunny D, I don't know. Yep, that's why I try to put not so much shading on Grilby. Oh, what happened there? Alright, that's right. I had to fix that. Let's see if this comes out once I've actually turned the color layer back on. Again, that's why we gotta study lighting. Lighting is tricky. He can and he will have a swept drop. That's canon. That's canon for realsies. I literally talked about this the last time I was working on this, was like, wait, he has a swept drop? Well, he is now. The end. We have Sunny. No, they're a fire thing. Well, then again, Grilby Disc says, oh, I never touch the stuff when it comes to water. But that might be just a bit of a joke. All fire beings are Charmander. It's true. We gotta keep Luna's fuzz. No matter what. We must have the fuzz. Which factoid has been contradicted? Like the Charmander one? Charmander being underwater kills it. Oh, okay. Yeah, I imagine with a series like Pokemon, that probably got debunked a couple times just for a difficult thing to keep with. Because, yeah, if that was the case, don't put your Charmander in battle ever, because what if somebody hits it with, like, Hydro Pump? They just killed your Charmander. Just flat out murdered your Charmander. I just need to introduce oil type, which makes fire type stronger. Beware. I think once we finish these things, I'll need to stop, and I'll do the outlines at a later date. Yeah, I got plenty to do this weekend. Plenty to do. I got plenty to do. That is true. You know what? This was actually one of those rare cases where, like, a Tumblr post actually really helped me out. Because I remembered that Tumblr post that was like, hey, if you have a grease fire in your kitchen, do not put water on it. Do not put flour on it. Put baking soda on it. Because I got a grease fire once while I was cooking. Like, all of a sudden, the flames started popping up out of my my frying pan. And I was like, wait, baking soda. I have baking soda. So I poured baking soda on it and went out immediately. So take it from me. If you have a grease fire, baking soda will work. Yeah, fire extinguishers always work. But, like, I don't have a fire extinguisher. Maybe I should get one, but I don't have one. But yeah, fire extinguisher should always work. Because I'm pretty sure, like, whatever the foam stuff is, like, it's not water. It can work on, like, a chemical fire. Or oil fire. If I had forearms, I would switch on and off so I could draw them without hurting them so much. Ideally. Look, this one's here. Yeah, and also not baking powder, baking soda specifically. And the reason why it's baking soda is because when baking soda is heated, it releases carbon dioxide, which snuffs out the oxygen in the fire and kills it immediately. Alright, okay, that's looking a little better. It's looking alright. We got the shadow thing on. Gives a little bit more depth to them. Ooh, sweet. Alright, I have a little bit more to do for these guys. We're almost done with them. I'm gonna add, like, outlines to them so they're a little less choppy. We've got some outlines to them, and we'll also fill in these guys here in the middle. Give them shadows, stuff like that. But otherwise, I'm hoping to finish this tomorrow. And I gotta squeeze Anthrofractal in there at some point. But either way, oops, I accidentally closed the thing. Either way, we are done for now. I will do more art on Sunday. It'll be Eldritch Rune probably. I always got plenty to do for that. But yeah, I'm glad we got to finish up the characters here, even though I reminded myself that I need to do lighting studies. It's still always nice to paint again. And again, we're like about 4 days out from the new chapter, so I'm sure we'll yap about that more on Sunday. It's been fun to do more of this. Thank you guys so much for coming to the stream. As always, it's awesome. I know it is scary, but it's fun, but it's scary. Yeah, stream's gonna end now. Usually when I do a Friday night stream, it's 7:30 to 10. And then my Sunday streams are from 9 a.m. to noon my time. Yes, thank you guys so much for coming. I super appreciate you being here and chatting with me. It's been very fun. Please chat with me more on Sunday, and we'll blab and get excited and go crazy. But otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And yeah, I will see you all next time. Alrighty, good night.